They were talking of separation. What is really going on? This is a family I knew that grew up with love. How did it come to the area in which my mom and my dad are now thinking of separating from each other? They got separated. My mom is a witch, that my father will not be able to make it in life, that he doesn't want to see us anymore. He doesn't want to hear anything from us anymore. That from this moment that we have decided to follow our mom, that he has disowned us. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and share this story of mine. It has been like a burden to my heart, and I think with this opportunity I can be able to get it out of my mind. It has not been easy. Whenever I sit down and remember all this that happened 3 years ago, I am just the only boy of 6 family. I have sisters in which every one of us, we loved each other from the beginning. I'm always proud that I have only sisters around me. And whenever I look at it, sometimes I say, I wish I have a brother. Maybe I would have been able to share some feelings with him as man to man. That is how we've been growing up. I grew up in the midst of ladies, and I love my sisters. They love me. Our father and our mom, they did all their best to make sure they give us good education. They make sure we are disciplined. They do all their best to create love amongst the children. I'll forever be grateful to them for that. And that is how we started growing up. It's just that most of my things I do, I always act like a girl because I grew up in the midst of girls. But I looked at it that one day we will grow up and I'll be a man. Then my sisters will be women, married to their husbands, and me, and maybe I will now bring in my own wife. I won't lie, it's fun and really, really fun to be with my sisters all the time, because sometimes they do some nasty things that makes me go but I still think, I still look at it that, well, they are ladies, so ladies will always be ladies. So it has not been easy for me growing up among women. And my father, who is the other man of the house, is not always around. He has to hustle, he has to go to make sure he finds food on the table for his family. So most times I'm always with my sisters and my mother. Well, we started growing up and things were going perfect and smooth, not until when a sudden time I found out that there was an argument between my father and my mother. And that's the first time I will ever see my dad and my mother fighting each other at each other's voice, on top of each other's voice, to the extent that was the first day I saw my father laying hands on my mother. I was shocked because I've never witnessed this before. And I believe that was the beginning of the problem in the family, because I felt when my father beat my mom, then he started getting used to beating her most times for no reason. And sometimes I'll cry. Sometimes he will lock me and my sisters inside while he was busy maltreating my mom. And the love that was between the family started dying. Then I started seeing myself as a man, that could I ever be a man like my dad? I vowed that even if I grow up, I pray I will not be like him, which to lay hands on my wife. Things started getting from bad to worse when my sister got first admission into higher institution, the Polytechnic Ire. So my father traveled. I guess he went for a business. And on his way back, they took his valuables and the money that he was coming down with. So when he got home, he told my mom about the incident. Then my mom, being who she is, women, and was like, do you know that your first child, your daughter, has just got admission into a higher institution? And my father was like trying to let my mom understand that even the money that was from me from the part of the fee, the money that he wants to use for my sister's admission was there. And my mother, being a woman, as usual, emotional, started being funny and saying whether my father likes it or not, she cannot stand and watch my sister not getting that admission or going to that school that very year that she was admitted. So my father was trying to talk to her and said, okay, maybe you should just, the following year, maybe we can. Now my mom said no. And that thing broke. It started slowly, and before I knew it, it escalated to something that was beyond repair. And my mother was bent on saying whether my dad likes it or not, if he has to go and steal that money, he has to bring out that money, that my sister has to go back to school. Go to the school the first year. My father said there was nothing he could do, and for like months it is war between my dad and my mom. Series of beating, fighting all the time. Eventually, I don't know, maybe my mom now went to the family, our own family, to be to raise the money so that my sister can gain admission and go to school. And then she went to school, and during that time I felt we are relieved that things has been resolved, but I never knew that it's even getting more terrible. And after my sister went to school, things didn't go well between me and my mom and my dad anymore. So it has always been problems between them every time. And before I knew it, they were talking of separation. And I was like, what is really going on? This is a family I knew that grew up with love. How did it come to the area in which my mom and my dad are now thinking of separating from each other? I started praying that I hope this should not happen, because I know the danger in separation of parents. It's always the children that faces the dilemma at the end of the day. I started praying that God shouldn't let this happen. Then my mom fell sick. She was terribly ill. So I don't know the issue that came up with her and my dad again. And my dad beat my mom so mercilessly that blood was gushing out from her nose. And she was sick. I couldn't hold it anymore. I had to stand up to my father and said, if it touches my mom one more time, that though I was in my secondary school, so I really don't know what happened. I felt I was just trying to protect my mom, because there's nothing I could do to my dad. And that was how it started. And before I knew it, my mom and my dad separated. They got separated. And when my sister came back from school, she was devastated. So my father said my mom should pack her things and leave the house. And we started begging my dad. He didn't listen to us. He didn't even act as if he's even hearing what we're saying. And we have to tell my mom that you should go to your brothers, go and call your families, tell them to come and beg him. Maybe he will listen. Then my mom went ahead to call her uncles, even her father, that they should please come and help her to beg my dad. They begged my dad for months, but my dad never listened to any one of them. He was bent on saying my mom should leave. These are rich men that came to beg my dad. They said they will even give him money in order for him to start all over again, and my dad said no, that he wants my mom to leave. And my dad had a junior sister then that was the immediate junior sister to my dad. Not knowing that she was even putting more fuel into the fire, that my dad should let my mom go, that my mom is a witch, that it's because of my mom that the reason why my dad is not making it, and that my mother is a very bad woman, that unless my mother leaves her aim, that my father would not be able to make it in life. That my father was there, he has money before he married my mom. So can't my dad now realize that it's because of this devilish woman that she married that made him go bankrupt. So I guess that was what my father was listening to then, listening to his siblings ahead of his own wife. And then he eventually ended up sending my mom away. We have 4 children. I am the second born. The first, I'm the second, and the other 2, the third and fourth. Unfortunately, the last born stayed with our dad. She was not around then when the incident happened. So, but the first 3, both my senior sister and me, and the one my immediate, we decided to follow our mom. Instead of staying with dad, we decided to follow our mom. And my dad was like, if we follow her, that we should never look back, that he will never look for us. That since we have decided that we want to follow our mom, then we should go with her. That he doesn't want to see us anymore. He doesn't want to hear anything from us anymore. That from this moment that we have decided to follow our mom, that he has disowned us. Eventually, maybe because I was still young, I never knew maybe as a man I'm supposed to stay with my dad, being a man that will be able to train a man. But because of the horror that I see in my father, I guess that's what made me not to want to stay with him, because I felt he's a very wicked person, and that was how the family broke up. And the 3 seniors, we grew up with our mom. During the time that our mom sent us to school, our dad didn't even bother to look for us. Our dad never bothered to look for us. I did all my best. I made sure I protected my sisters, both the senior and the junior, that were together, most especially the immediate one. Whenever she falls into trouble, I'm always there to, God, not me, it's always there to save her, to protect her, because I knew that what my father might be going through is these 3 children that are following their mother. I pray they will not be successful, so that he will have something to nail my mother with at the end of the day. My mother suffered to take care of the 3 children that went with him. The first 3, my mother had to do all she could to make sure she sent us to school. Then we did not hear from our father for years. My mother sometimes would go through man friend in order to make money to train her children. But I knew all this, but I felt I still have to move, because I vowed for things that my mother was going through, I'll try my best not to go wayward. I will try my best as a man not to dip my hands into things that is not worthy of a man. Till you ask, it's not really easy for women to train a male child. Even things got so bad that it was almost getting to, my sisters almost got to the level where they wanted to, maybe they should just sleep with men and make money in order to further their education. But my mom did everything to make sure that didn't happen. And at the same time she was doing that, she was putting an eye on me also, the man. She was afraid that is she meeting up. Most times when I'm not at home, my mother is always afraid, even when I go to school, that am I giving this guy enough for him not to do things that he's not supposed to? At the same time, my 2 sisters too are there. Eventually, My mom's dad, he passed on. My sister was able to graduate. I was able to go through my own school also, and so is the one that's next to me. And along the line, I felt my father realized his mistake, but before he would come back to meet up with my mom, it was too late. He did everything, but my mom never listen to him. And my mom said instead of her going back to him, she would rather die. And that was how it ended. And my father couldn't get that love back, couldn't get the woman back. So I took care of my sisters. I protected my sisters. Along the line, years later, 3 years ago, my mother passed on. And I was like, even before she passed on, she was terribly sick. The only pain is that when my mother passed on, I was not there. They said she called and called for me, that she wanted to see the son that she brought up to be somebody in life. But I was not there. And my mother passed on. What really broke my heart was when my senior sister was trying to break the news to me. The first thing she would say was that I and my wife are the reason why my mom is no more. And I was like, how come? How will you say it's me and my wife? How could you come to that? Even if you don't like my wife, you shouldn't go to that extent. And I was so shocked. I got married to an Igbo woman. I'm a Yoruba man. So I guess maybe because my wife is an Igbo, might have been the reason why there is not much love between her, my sisters, and my mom. 3 years later, my sister passed on. The one that accused me. 3 years after my mother passed on, my sister that accused me of now passed on too. That's my senior sister. And I felt my whole world is turning apart. These are people that I grew up with, that we share things together. Why is this happening? I still can't believe that two of the people that I grew up I loved are no more. Even though they were so wicked, they said bad things about me, but I still miss them. I miss them dearly. I always miss them. I know me and my wife were innocent. That's why I don't know what to do, and that is why I'm sharing this, because I want people out there, I want people to tell me, advise me on what to do, because right now I am confused. I don't even know what to do anymore. Please, I need advice and I need help. Thank you so much.